President Rodrigo Duterte on Friday threatens to have International Criminal Court Chief Prosecutor Bensouda arrested if she sets foot in the country to proceed with her probe into his anti-drugs campaign. The ICC is conducting preliminary examinations into Duterte's anti-drugs campaign. Duterte says, quote, "You cannot exercise any proceedings here without basis. That is illegal and I will arrest you." He adds, quote, "So Ms. Fatou, don't come here because I will bar you." But Bensouda doesn't have a reason yet to head to the Philippines since the ICC has just begun preliminary examinations into killings linked to Duterte's campaign against illegal drugs. During the preliminary examination, the ICC will determine whether it has jurisdiction over the complaint. If it has jurisdiction, that's when the ICC could proceed with an investigation and the time the ICC prosecutor can visit the Philippines. Even if the prosecution requests an arrest warrant from ICC judges, the ICC will rely on law enforcement agencies of the Philippines to make the arrest. The ICC does not have its own enforcement agency. Duterte insists he is not afraid of the ICC. He says, quote, "I am not afraid of you," I said, "because you will never have jurisdiction over my person, not in a million years. What is your authority now if we are not members of your treaty?" Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno now has 11 statements of assets, liabilities, and net worth from when she worked at the University of the Philippines on file. The 11 SALNs cover the years 1985, 1989, 1990, 1991, 1993, 1994, 1995, 1996, 1997, 1998, and 2002. Sereno worked at UP from 1986 to 2006. The 1985 SALN was her entry SALN to UP. When the impeachment process started, she only had 3 SALNs from UP from 1998, 2002, and 2006. The recovery is expected to boost her defense that the SALNs were only missing because they were difficult to find, as against the accusation that she did not file them at all. But there's a slight confusion because data from the House of Representatives impeachment proceedings state that she had a SALN from 2006. But the list provided by the Sereno camp on Thursday does not include 2006. Sereno, during her debate with Associate Justice Teresita Leonardo de Castro Tuesday, explained she used a downloadable form with 2006 as a header to file her entry SALN in 2010 upon appointment as SC Associate Justice. Sereno said she forgot to delete 2006. Associate Justice Noel Tiham earlier concluded Sereno couldn't find the SALNs because she really did not file them. Non-filing is a criminal charge, while non-submission to the Judicial and Bar Council when Sereno applied for Chief Justice in 2012 is being used as a ground to declare her appointment void. Both are cited in the quo warranto petition to oust Sereno, arguing she didn't meet the integrity requirement to be a member of the court. The Philippine National Police refuses to detain officials charged for plunder in the 50 million peso Bureau of Immigration bribery scandal. This after former Immigration Deputy Commissioners Al Argusino and Michael Robles and alleged middleman Wally Sombero all requested to be transferred to Camp Crame for their safety. The 3 are currently detained at Camp Bagong in Taguig City. The former immigration officials have been charged for accepting a 50 million peso bribe from gaming tycoon Jack Lam in exchange for freeing nearly half of the 1,300 illegal Chinese workers who were arrested in a casino in Pampanga. Sombero, a former police colonel, acted as a middleman for Lam. The PNP says there is no proof that their lives are in danger. The National Privacy Commission on Friday says it will conduct its own probe into Facebook after more than 1 million Filipino users may have had their Facebook information improperly shared with British political consultancy firm Cambridge Analytica. Cambridge Analytica allegedly harvested the data of millions of Facebook users for use on United States President Donald Trump's presidential campaign. Its parent company, Strategic Communication Laboratories, has been linked to President Rodrigo Duterte's 2016 campaign team. The NPC, in a letter to Facebook CEO Mark Zuckerberg, requires the social media giant to submit documents that will help establish the scope and the effects of the incident as it relates to Filipino users. It says the investigation aims to determine whether there is unauthorized processing of personal data of Filipinos and other possible violations of the Data Privacy Act of 2012. The Commission says Facebook has 15 days upon receipt of the letter to respond. Failure to comply will prompt the NPC to undertake further corrective actions to protect the interests of Filipino data subjects. The NPC's letter to the social media giant follows 2 days of U.S. congressional hearings where Zuckerberg apologized for the missteps of the company but defended its business model. President Rodrigo Duterte on Friday apologizes to Myanmar leader Aung San Suu Kyi for saying genocide was taking place in her country. Last week, Duterte said genocide was taking place in Rakhine State in Myanmar. Duterte says his statement was meant to mock the United Nations, which has been critical of his anti-drug campaign. He says, quote, "I will apologize to you, but if you have noticed, my statement was almost a satire." Duterte adds he and Suu Kyi were both on the receiving end of criticism from the UN and others in the international community. It's not the first time for Duterte to come to Suu Kyi's defense. Duterte supposedly told the Myanmar leader to ignore criticisms on alleged human rights violations when they attended the Association of Southeast Asian Nations Summit in India.